Hello friends, and happy Pride Month. You know, Pride Month has to be my favorite time of year just because it's a beautiful time for LGBT people such as myself to celebrate not only our pride and our identities within our personal lives, but also to reflect upon our history and to remember the legacies of those who made it all possible. And while there won't be any physical celebrations this year because of, that. It still is important as ever to remember our history and to acknowledge the problems that we face not only as a result of the forces outside of, the gay sphere, but also from the various prejudices that exist within the community itself. But I'm not here to talk about, anything that's actually important could contribute to, a greater global discussion. Instead, let's talk about some gays. So a bit of backstory for you guys at home. While I was doing research for my Night at the Museum 2 video, I stumbled across a strange listing for a short film called Guys Against You Serving in the writing credits of Thomas Lennon's IMDb page. Of course, I knew I had to investigate this further purely because of how completely batshit insane its title is. Well, that and the fact that it's listed almost directly after Night at the Museum 2, which makes it look like a punishment from an angry god. But while writing the video, I realized that I couldn't quite work it in without completely disrupting the tone and pacing of the script. It's just too much to talk about to fit into a simple quip, a simple one-liner, a single little bit. So I just had to scrap it. So I decided to scrap the bit in favor of creating an entire companion video based around it, which is what you guys are watching right now. My hope is that I'll be able to release both this video and the Night at the Museum 2 video at the same time, but if this video comes out on June 30th and there's no sign of the Night at the Museum 2 video, I just want to say I'm sorry. Alright, so with that being said, God, where to even start with this, dude? There's so much to talk about, and I wish I could just have several rants going on at the same time, because I really can't express the sheer variety and magnitude of emotions that this video and its respective background makes me feel in a format that would be fun to watch or listen to. I mean, there's always podcasts, but you would need to be a special kind of masochist to listen to one where it's just a schmuck rambling on about a single video from 2010. This thing gives me a headache every time I have to think about it. It's such an enigma, and honestly, just remembering it again while I'm recording this, it hurts. It fucking hurts, dude. But with that being said, I guess there's no better way to start than by giving you a little bit of background. So, here we go. So Guys Against You Serving was a 3-minute video released on funnyordie.com in 2010 that was a mix between a comedy sketch and an anti-don't ask, don't tell PSA. There's a lot to unpack in that one sentence alone, but I really just gotta highlight the name of the organization that made this video possible. With a name like funnyordie.com, you would think this is some Evolves World type shit where it's run by just a few people out of their basement with some shitty ass servers, and all the ads on the site are just not safe for work enough to make you uncomfortable, but just safe for work enough to go through Google ad services. But no, you'd be fucking wrong, dude. This site was founded by none other than Will Ferrell. That's right, the Mr. Funny Man actor from such classics as Megamind and Elf. God knows why anyone of such a high status would choose such a shitty name to base their brand around, but hey, that's besides the point. Oh god, that's besides the point. Jesus Christ. That's not the worst thing about this. Hey guys, that's the least weird thing about this. Okay. Moving into the actual, content of the video, it's relatively inoffensive. I mean, it's basically just famous comedians such as John Cho, David Holmes, Thomas Lennon, Jenny Lennon, Alex Fernie, Sarah Silverman, and fucking Weird Al Yankovic of all people doing this bit where they pretend to be homophobic. I mean, it's not funny, but it gets its point across well enough. It's not harming anyone. Well, that's not true. They do use a couple of just actually straight up homophobic stereotypes as the foundation of a couple jokes, such as the infamous homophobes are actually just closeted gay people stereotype. But hey, it was 2010, and as far as I can tell, they only had one gay person in the cast, so I can see how they would think that's okay. It doesn't excuse it, but I can see how they would think that. Honestly, this whole video just gives off the same vibes as your straight aunt who you only see at Thanksgiving, who tries her best to be supportive, but she just gets it so wrong. And you kinda just gotta nod your head and agree because you don't want to spend the time or the effort to correct her. Sure, it's not the most gay-friendly thing out there, but that's probably just the result of us viewing it 10 years in the future from its release. I mean, so much has happened since this video was released, such as the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2011. Of course, I can't find anything that gauged the impact of this video on the conversation about the legislation in question, because I wasn't on the internet when it was released, and there's not really any articles about it, at least not any that have survived today. Even going on the Wayback Machine and looking at the video's original page, it doesn't give me much information to work with. Like, there's only 48 comments on the video at the last available capture, which in and of itself is incredibly weird. That's such a pathetic number for a video featuring such high-profile comedians, and I have no idea why it's so low. But that's not even the most confusing thing about this video. As it turns out, this video has effectively been scrubbed from the internet. The original Funny or Die page has been taken down, and any articles that feature the videos no longer load properly. The only reason I could get footage of the original video to show you guys here is because a mirror of it was uploaded to the website of a Russian film publication. That's it. The only thing that kept it from becoming completely lost was the fact that some obscure site not only has it in their selection by complete chance, but also that they happen to host the video on their site instead of just embedding it from the original source like some fucking maniacs. And that's it. It's just pure chance. And the fact that this video in particular, the video that I wanted to talk about, was preserved is another stroke of luck. Most other videos from the site that were released around the same time have been expunged from the internet for God knows whatever reason. I mean, the site's still operational, but I just can't find these videos. In fact, the part 2 to this video has become completely lost due to this purging. I was honestly skeptical about the possibility of a part 2 even being out there, because the only things that prove its existence are a bare bones IMDb listing and a single low quality thumbnail that can be found using the Wayback Machine. But I guess it's just the way things go on the internet. I mean, the very nature of internet content is brevity, after all. The internet incentivizes the creation of content that is single-use and leaves no impact on the viewer. It incentivizes a pattern of consumption and creation that discourages archival efforts, and that, for lack of a better term, fucking sucks. Sure, this video has little value on almost all departments. Maybe you could use it as an example of celebrities showing support for gay rights pre the legalization of same-sex marriage in 2015, but even that's stretching it. There's really no reason to go back to this video 10 years later, but it should still be preserved. The fact that it's just a complete relic of the early 2010s is reason enough to keep it around. All online content such as this serves one purpose or another and should be archived for posterity. I mean, if something like this video involving big industry names can be lost to the sands of time, then what will happen to all the independently produced content that's hosted on sites like YouTube? I don't know, man. Maybe it's impossible to save it. Without the powers of a massive corporation backing you up, it's really hard to preserve things like that. But either way, I'm still gonna try. I'll upload this video onto YouTube with the burner account just in case some god-awful person still cares about the copyright on this thing, and I'll put a link to it in the description. It's not much, but it's something. And I encourage all of you to go out and download your favorite video on the site. Keep it in your back pocket. Go on. With things like the Internet Archive being sued and all the other awful things that are going on, your services are going to be needed one day. It hurts. It really fucking hurts to come to terms with the reality that creations don't live forever. Eventually, everything will go away. But we have the power to make it last just that little bit longer. I'd like to take a moment at the end of this video to thank Nebularobo for creating all the wonderful avatars that you've been seeing throughout this video. Their art is just so fucking good. Like just look at this. Just look at this. It's so wonderful. Just the way that they detail and color their art is just so lovely to look at. I love it just whenever their art comes up in my feed. It's so pretty to look at. I love them so much. I encourage everyone watching this video to go follow the Twitter account, which I'll have linked in the end card and description, and if you can, donate to their Ko-fi or Patreon, because this dude fucking deserves it. Well, unless if you're from DreamWorks, which in case, you need to get this dude a fucking job. You know what you did. You know what you did. You know what you did.